But we've been looking at the underlying causes of deforestation in this panel discussion so far, and there is one cross-cutting driver of deforestation, or cause of deforestation, that crosses all of these areas, and that is the issue of governance, or weak forest governance, weak law enforcement. That's the issue that we're principally pushing forward. We see that weak governance is denying the ability for RED to be implemented properly in a lot of countries and denying the development opportunities for those countries. Yes, I apologise for the technical glitch that this slide's been up there this whole time. If you could move it forward. Thank you, Stewart. This is a slide that talks about the estimated proportion of illegal and legal timber exports out of 15 RED countries. It's using World Bank data. You'll see the large slice of the pie that is illegal logs. This is a good. I've shown this slide because the amount of illegal logging in countries is a good proxy indicator for the level of governance in that country. And weak law enforcement and weak governance leads to, or allows, a lot of the drivers of deforestation to exist. Not only illegal logging, but illegal land claims as well. One of the reasons that countries, for the most part, fail to address illegal logging is that there is this mistaken belief that the timber industry provides development opportunities for those countries. And so there's a reluctance to overly regulate the timber industry or to reform forest law. Unfortunately, the evidence shows quite the contrary, that for the most part, development has not been brought by the logging sector, largely because of the amount of corruption, the amount of lack of transparency in the allocation of logging concessions and so on. That revenue that is supposed to be brought from the logging sector is not available to those countries. Global Witness has done a number of projects within countries to track logs, to monitor the logs and work with governments in improving their forest law enforcement and their forest governance. And we've found that project more than pays for itself in terms of increased revenue through fines, but also through taxes properly being paid, concessions properly being paid for at proper market prices. Here is a list of the 40 countries that are currently participating in the UN RED program, the UN's collaborative program on RED, and the World Bank's FCPF program. A number of countries are in both slides. You'll see from these countries, by most internationally accepted standards, the majority of these RED countries fall into high-risk categories in terms of corruption and accountability, and in terms of business climate. A lot of studies have shown that these are high-risk countries to invest in. There's also a study that's been done, again by the World Bank, using governance indicators that looks at corruption and accountability. And of the 37 countries that are currently on the World Bank's FCPF program, 80% of them are in the bottom half and 30% are in the lowest quarter in terms of their corruption and accountability. Unless RED addresses this poor governance, unless RED countries address poor governance within their own borders, RED won't be able to be implemented properly. Donors and investors, and particularly private sector investors, are going to simply go elsewhere, where there is a better business climate, where they get better return for their investment in climate change issues. And it is often these countries that are going to need that financial help the most. So we need to build confidence in RED to make it work. And principally, we need to improve the levels of transparency and accountability within a government. We need to reform its forest law, and we need to build a comprehensive monitoring system that monitors or assesses the ability of that country to implement RED and to monitors its level of governance. And the last point I would like to make is that if we're going to implement such a monitoring system, we can only do it effectively if we involve the participation and the local knowledge of the local communities, the indigenous groups and civil society.